Hi, I'm Phil, and this is my story about becoming Catholic. I don't have time to tell you all the details about my journey into the Catholic Church, but what I will tell you about today is the night that I became Catholic at an Easter Vigil Mass in Boulder, Colorado, with a priest with a fuzzy man bun. I am kind of like a preschooler as a Catholic. I've only been Catholic for about 4 years. I grew up as a Lutheran, and so as a kid I had a lot of beliefs that were similar to what we as Catholics believe, but I also had some different beliefs. And so, in middle school and high school and college, I loved God very much, and I went to church and prayed often and had a good relationship with Jesus, but I had never gone to Mass or confession or adoration. I'd never prayed a rosary, and I didn't really know anything about the Pope other than that he was an old dude with a little funny hat who drove around in a car called the Pope-mobile. To make a long story very short, as a senior in college, I liked girls, especially this girl named Karen, and I really liked Karen a lot, but she was Catholic, and so we started dating, and I started going to Mass from time to time with Karen. And I fell in love with the Mass so much that I also started going to Mass without Karen sometimes too. And I started to have all these questions that I wanted answers to about the Catholic faith. And so I started reading books about Catholicism, and then I read the Catechism from cover to cover. There was just so much for me to learn. And in all of that learning, I was just astounded by all of the truth that I was finding in the Catholic faith. And I realized that I needed to become Catholic, and I knew in my heart that God was calling me to change my life and become Catholic. I went through RCIA, and in case you're wondering, yes, I did end up marrying Karen. But that brought me to the Easter Vigil Mass on April 15th, 2017. And so at that Mass, the night that I was going to become Catholic, there was a point when everyone there who was being brought into the church that night had to stand up, and in front of everybody who was there, we had to say, "I believe and profess all that the Holy Catholic Church believes, teaches, and proclaims to be revealed by God." In other words, I had to tell everybody there, I believe 100% everything, and I mean everything, that the Catholic Church teaches, and not because my parents told me I had to. And it's hard to describe, but when I said that, I could feel the Holy Spirit being stirred up inside me, and it was as if God was saying to me, "You are exactly where I want you to be, and this is your new home." And a few minutes later in that Mass, the priest with the man bun, his name was Father Peter, he anointed my head with oil and gave me my confirmation name of St. Joseph. And just like that, I went from 24 years of being Lutheran to being Catholic. And a few minutes after that, I got to receive Jesus in the Eucharist for the first time in my entire life. And I was so happy and so grateful that I cried like a little baby. Why did I convert from my Lutheran faith, and why did I decide that at 24 years old I needed to become Catholic? One of the biggest reasons is because in all of my searching and digging and exploring into everything our Catholic faith had to offer, everywhere I looked, I was finding truth, everywhere. Any question that I had about our Catholic faith, I found an answer with a good reason behind it that was going to help me grow closer to God and love other people more too. And so I would encourage you to dig in for yourself into our Catholic faith, and don't just listen to what we hear at Mass, but start looking into it for yourself. And if you have a question about what we believe as Catholics, maybe, why do we go to Mass on Sundays? Or why do we make the sign of the cross before we sit in the pew? Or why do we believe that a piece of bread becomes the creator of the universe? Look for the answer to that question and ask our priests. You can look it up in the Catechism. You can listen to a podcast about it, but God has so much that He wants to give you. And I know that as you look into our Catholic faith for the answers to those questions, You're going to find the answers, and you're also just going to find more questions, and you're just going to keep digging. And if you do that, you're going to spend the rest of your life just growing to love God and growing to learn more about everything that our beautiful Catholic faith has to offer. I'm Phil, and that was my story about becoming Catholic. A small piece of it, anyway.